Hello, welcome to a new video of Dynasty War where we'll talk about leveling up awakening skill or the original skill. But today, this episode, I'm not really focusing on a new hero, but I want to talk about the past three heroes that I've talked about and make a comparison. So the first one is Shooter Taishi. I talk about his skill and his awakening skill, and I think it's preferable to upgrade his original skill because that's how he gets stronger. Because his skill is summoning a stealth guard which does some DPS. And in order to get that stealth guard stronger, you have to level up his skill instead of his own level. And his awakening skill restore health, but it doesn't restore a lot because Taishi as a archer hero, he doesn't have a lot of HP anyways. So, and then the next one I talk about was ZhangLiao. I talk about his awakening skill being very strong, and I already upgraded his awakening skill to 4 out of 5, and his main skill is only 10 out of 15, I think. You want to maximize his awakening skill because it adds a lot of extra damage for him. And then recently, the last one I talked about was ZhugeLiang, and I basically explained that once you awaken him, he is strong enough. He can recover HP, and you don't have to go all the way, and you don't have to go up to 15 out of 15 because the increase is not a lot. So what we'll be talking about in this video is comparing these three because people have argued about or discussed that Shooter Taishi or ZhangLiao might be able to replace ZhugeLiang because both of them have ability that can clear out a bunch of buildings and very strong. So we will look at that in this video to see if it is actually possible. So right here on this side, you can see I list the basic damage output, cooldown, HP, and DPS of the three heroes. At 10 out of 10, Shooter Taishi actually has the highest damage from his skill, but then once you get to 15 out of 15, ZhangLiao has a way higher total damage output than the other two. This math you can calculate it by taking the DPS of the stealth guard and multiply by 12. This one, it's his original skill damage times 10. ZhugeLiang is only times 5 because 5 strikes. However, since ZhangLiao's awakening skill give him additional damage per strike, you can see the calculation is a little bit different, but that's what it does. He will get a very high damage output from his awakening skill, and that's how he got the 10,000 damage per skill. So that's a very high damage. Taishi has the lowest cooldown for his skill, lowest HP, lowest DPS as well because as an archer hero, these tend to be lower because he has range in return. So ZhangLiao higher HP, higher DPS, but very low range, and ZhugeLiang is right in the middle, decent damage, decent HP, and decent range. So on the right here, this chart I listed more detailed stuff to make a comparison. I use negative and positive to indicate the relationship relative to the other one, which one is better, which one is at an advantage, which one is not. So the first three is their survivability. Can they stand X amount of damage? So Lubu Fireball does 3,966 damage, and Shooter Taishi will not be able to take that hit. However, ZhugeLiang will be able to take that hit with its max level, 3,982 HP. The Fireball only does 3,966. That's 15 out of 15 and 5 out of 5. So everything in here it's max level, max skill, no treasure. And this is the flaw of Lubu's Fireball that I have mentioned and complained many times. It cannot kill ZhugeLiang with one Fireball. That's a big disadvantage. And for ZhugeLiang, it's a very good advantage because you don't need a lot of HP. You just need more than 3,966. And that's where the balance comes from. However, ZhangLiao, obviously, he could take that Fireball and still have decent amount of HP. But having decent amount of HP and surviving is the same thing when you are very close in the battle. Obviously, the next thing is the ZhugeLiang's skill. It does 5,725 damage at 15 out of 15. It will kill Shooter Taishi. It will kill himself. Even at level 10 out of 10, it does enough damage to kill another ZhugeLiang or Taishi, but it will not be able to kill ZhangLiao because he's a sword hero. However, I included Zhang Spear in here as well. It does less damage than Lubu's Fireball, so it's not going to kill ZhugeLiang. It will kill Shooter Taishi, it will not kill ZhangLiao. But as a comparison, you see you don't need to have a lot of HP. You just need to have enough to take specific hits. And if you don't die immediately, you can do stuff. As in here, ZhugeLiang, once it got hit, it will still have enough HP to walk out and use his skill once and recover 30% of his HP. And in this case, actually, for Lu Bu's Fireball, I want to mention something. I'll talk about it in a little bit later. If your ZhangLiao got hit by a Lu Bu Fireball at Lu Bu's maximum range, it will trigger ZhangLiao's skill, but ZhangLiao will not attack anyone and stand still and waste his skill because he has a very low range for his skill range. So in here, the total damage as listed earlier, obviously ZhangLiao has a very big advantage in that, and then Shooter Taishi and then ZhugeLiang. But more importantly is the damage over the time. How much time does it take to do the damage? Taishi takes 12 seconds to do all the damage because that's how you calculate the total damage. You take the DPS times 12 because he's summoning a Stealth Guard that attack for 12 seconds. So it takes 12 seconds to do the total amount of damage. Even though the total amount is more than ZhugeLiang, but you need 12 seconds. So you're exchanging immediate damage to longer and more damage. And ZhangLiao is listed in his skill that it takes 2.5 seconds for him to do the 10 strikes and do a massive amount of damage. 2.5 seconds is not too long, it's still acceptable. But then ZhugeLiang is almost instant. Once he's used his skill, it just strike everything and it's done. Now the next key thing is the damage type. Both Taishi and ZhangLiao are single targeted. They take one troop out one at a time. And ZhugeLiang is the area damage. So he can do more damage than what's listed. Because if any of his strike attack a different unit, more than one unit, 2 units or 3 units, you can basically add another strike, lightning strike to it. So that makes his skill actually easily, you can achieve more damage from his skill than what was listed in here because that's only multiplying 5. But if you can hit more than one unit, you got more damage from it already. And the skill range is how far can the skill reach. So ZhangLiao has probably the smallest range in here. As I said earlier, if you get hit by a Lu Bu Fireball, it will trigger ZhangLiao's skill, but he will not actually go toward Lu Bu and attack him. He uses skill immediately at the position that he got hit and wastes his skill. This happened to me once on defense. It sucks because his range is very small. Especially if he attacked 10 things. If he attacked 10 things, he will destroy basically everything around him. And what it does is it will force him to go towards the center and probably get killed immediately by Thunder Formation, Heroes, or Purgatory Tower. The next thing is Taishi. Taishi has a decent range. He's an archer hero, so he has the range already. But his skill actually is not limited by his own auto attack range. His Stealth Guard, he could throw his Stealth Guard pretty far away into the enemy base, and his Stealth Guard has its own radius that he can attack, and it's a pretty big circle as well. However, ZhugeLiang's skill is probably the most OP range ever. I think it used to be even bigger. The ranges used to be a bit bigger, but I think it's been nerfed. But still, it can cover almost half of the whole map, and he can just attack basically anything around there. And along with the area damage, most of the time I see ZhugeLiang is they attack my base. He uses skill on my hero. Obviously, he can't kill my sword hero in one skill. But what it does is the first strike will lure the hero out, and as the hero walks toward him, lightning strikes keep hitting the same hero again and again. And when my hero walk next to or on top of or overlap any other building, it will get destroyed on the way as well because it does area damage and it has an infinite range basically. So the range is very important in here because in order for your skill to be useful, you have to be able to attack what you're trying to attack. And the next thing is cooldown. Taishi has a pretty fast cooldown, 8-second cooldown. I think that's the only hero that has 8-second cooldown. ZhangLiao is 13, ZhugeLiang is 12. Pretty much the same. 12, 13 seconds is on the faster side anyways. It's not 15 and 18. Those are slower. Skill priority is also important. Taishi's skill prioritize the target that Taishi is looking at. Once that target is destroyed, the Stealth Guard will target hero or troops first, and then anything else. He will not target defensive structures, or he will not prioritize defensive structures. And after hero or troops, it's anything. Any building or defensive buildings, doesn't matter. And ZhangLiao will target defensive structure first, and that's the only thing he targets. After that, it's anything. However, I think he actually has a not targeting hero. He does not target hero at all unless that's the very last thing. I'm not sure if this is actually true that they put like a negative priority to heroes. But however, that's the only time I see ZhangLiao hit a hero. Is there is nothing on the nothing around him, and that's the only time he attack heroes. And I think it makes sense because his skill is very strong. 10,000 damage, he could kill any hero in one skill. Probably except shield hero with treasure, but most other heroes he could kill just by using his skill on him. So maybe that's why he doesn't target hero. Now, however, ZhugeLiang's skill does target hero first, as I've mentioned earlier, that he always target my sword hero on defense whenever he's in range. After that, it's defensive structures and then anything. So ZhugeLiang always prioritize things that will do damage. ZhangLiao does that too, but ZhangLiao does not target hero. That's a big thing because hero probably does the most damage, either you're on offense or defense. And ZhugeLiang will take out the strongest things first: heroes, defensive structures, and then anything else. Now, what happened during this skill is Shooter Taishi has 8-second cooldown, but his stealth guard lasts 12 seconds. So there will be overlapping, and there will be two stealth guard on the battlefield at one time along with him. 600 DPS times 2 plus his own 500 DPS, that's about 1700 damage. So Shooter Taishi can does 1700 damage per second. So that's why I use him for Alliance Dungeon as well with Sima Yi's buff. He can do a lot of damage per second because there's more people on there. There's more attackers on the field attacking. Now in ZhangLiao, he actually disappears, so he loses his own DPS. You lose that 697 damage per second. So if you really want to be technical about this, you can take this number and multiply by 2.5, which is about 1800-ish. So you take that and subtract away from here because he's actually losing some damage. He's not attacking at all. He's wasting his own auto attack damage to do his skill damage. Obviously, that's a good thing because his skill is actually stronger, and he's a melee hero, so he could actually dodge out the way and not take more damage and die. And ZhugeLiang, his skill is almost instant, so he's not really doing anything during his skill. It's instant, so he's still attacking, so he's not losing any damage. He doesn't take more time healing or anything. Then the next thing is the auto attack range. Having 5 tiles as an archer hero is a big advantage, but not too big because he can't outreach any defensive structures. He will still be attacked by any defensive structures that he is attacking. Now the good thing is if he's standing farther away, that means less defense are targeting him. He will take less damage as a result of that. Now ZhangLiao is very bad because it's a melee, 1 tower range. He has to walk up close, and walking up close meaning he will be targeted by more structures and heroes as well. So he will be targeted by a lot of things and die easily as a result. Now ZhugeLiang is a fan hero, 3 tile in the middle of these two, decent range. So that's better than walking all the way up close. Now the next thing I have to talk about is how useful is their awakening skill. Taishi's awakening skill, honestly, I think it's very bad. At max, it only heals 20% of his HP. As an archer hero, he has low HP to begin with anyways. So that's a very insignificant amount. But the weird thing is, I think it's very contradicting. It only heals him when the stealth guard disappears. So you have to wait for 12 seconds. In any case of emergency, he can't last for 12 seconds. He will die in less than 10 seconds. So either you wait for the stealth guard to finish his attack or get destroyed, then you get the heal. Now this is the contradicting part because you want his stealth guard to last as long as possible to do as much damage. You also want his stealth guard to disappear as soon as possible to heal him. So I don't think the original skill and the awakening skill match too well together. That's a very bad thing, I think. ZhangLiao, on the other hand, awakening skill is very strong, give him so much more damage. As we calculated earlier, it's about another close to 50% extra damage from his skill. And that's a lot of damage for him. It's a very unique awakening skill too. And ZhugeLiang healing himself. So I think ZhugeLiang and Taishi are the only 2 heroes that can heal themselves with awakening skill. Now, ZhugeLiang's skill is much better because it heals on impact. Once the lightning strike, it heals him 6%. And 5 strikes is 30%. More percentage on a fan hero means more HP as well. Now that makes more sense because in any emergency case, once he hit things with his skill, he recovers HP 6%, 6%, 6%, which is much better than 20% after your stealth guard disappear. So obviously, ZhugeLiang's awakening skill is much more useful because at least it does not contradict with his original skill. The last thing is the sustainability of each hero. So let's start with ZhangLiao being a very bad sustainable hero because, first of all, he cannot heal himself. He's a sword hero. He has to walk all the way next to buildings to attack, meaning he will attract more damage from defensive structures. If you use healers to heal him, the healers have to go closer to the base as well because he's a sword hero, and that makes an easy target for Dragon Canyon or other structures. Especially when ZhangLiao uses skill, he disappears. So everything will turn their target to the healer and kill the healer very quickly. Then the next one is Shooter Taishi. Shooter Taishi is 5 tower range, pretty good. He also heal himself when the skill is when his stealth guard is destroyed. So that's pretty good sustainability as well. And since he is a 5 tower range, he can stand very far away. What that means is the healer is even further away from the base. So the healer will not be as easily targeted. So Shooter Taishi can last longer if you have enough healer healing him. Obviously, he has low HP, so you need to have more healers to keep his HP high enough to last long enough. Now the last thing is ZhugeLiang. ZhugeLiang heal himself 30% every 12 seconds. It's a lot. And fan hero, so he doesn't have to walk all the way close. So your healers are at a decent range, pretty safe range healing him. And that's the difference. It's just standing a couple tile away and having sustainability by himself is very strong. So back to the main question, can Shooter Taishi and ZhangLiao replace ZhugeLiang? I think the answer is no, not at all. In specific situation, either Taishi or ZhangLiao might be useful. But overall, in general, ZhugeLiang is probably still the better choice for anything or everything. You have to find a specific case where ZhangLiao could be useful because it's single targeted and he only attacked defensive building first. Yes, he does a lot of damage, and that's his biggest point. He is a sword hero, so he got more HP. However, if we look at what happened in here, ZhugeLiang has enough damage, has enough HP to withstand a lot of attack, and Shooter Taishi, being a archer hero, has range, some sustainability, but very low HP. Can easily die, and his skill is special because he could summon more units on the battlefield to attack and does more damage. But he will die easily. And ZhangLiao, even though he has more HP, but he has to walk up close, so he will take more damage easily. So ZhugeLiang is way more balanced than the other two and does area damage. And I think what's really the key point is right here: range, high range, instant damage, area damage, and targeting hero. I don't think if they keep creating heroes that do not do these 4 things, then nothing can replace ZhugeLiang. Having an instant area damage with huge range and targeting hero is OP as everything. Neither Taishi or ZhangLiao have anything that can beat those 4 attributes. So as a result, I think ZhugeLiang is still a more versatile, well-rounded hero to use. So let me know if you agree or disagree or have any other suggestions or other criteria to look at to compare them. But this is it for this video. Next week, we'll go back to looking at individual heroes and their skill and awakening skill. See you in the next one. Bye bye.